my phone reached storage limit, so it cut us off for a second. But you were just talking about there are reasons that people maybe don't want to wake up or don't want to look around or notice, that maybe their life, they have to-do lists, or they're afraid that by waking up all they'll see is how horrible things are, and you're saying it's the opposite.
Well, as a human doing, I think we become pretty numb. Numb and dumb. And it's easy to be in just coasting or doing all the have-tos, which instead of doing the want-tos, doing the have-tos. Mm-hmm. And that can drive us all crazy because we can get overloaded with the have-tos. And it's like interesting how at this age, that stage of humanity, that we have all these amazing appliances and technology, and instead of it making life simpler and easier, it has made life crazier. I mean, how many people get lost on Facebook? How many people get lost on the various games you can play? Mm-hmm. And just totally numb out. On the one hand, it can be really kind of fun to play games, whether like solitaire or Bejeweled or something, just because it can be very numbing, and there are times when we need to numb because of all the crazies that are happening all over the planet. And the fear. There's so much fear, gloom and doom peddling and fear mongering. And it's the more we listen to the news and all of this, the more that we just, create panic, stress. People having PTSD just from watching the news. Mm-hmm. Just from being alive in our current era. Mm-hmm. So it takes a lot of work to be peaceful, mm-hmm. to be mellow, to be gentle, to be happy. It takes work. It takes effort. When I'm talking about telling people to do grats and pats and looking at what the good that you have in your world, I'm not just doing it to hear myself talk. It's like we need to focus on those things, because those things are not being focused upon. Mm-hmm. What's being focused upon is death and dying and mayhem and disease and what's going to happen in the future, and futurizing and awfulizing. So it's just, we have to be very conscious about what we are thinking. I know that last week I had talked about Shad Helmstedter's book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Mm. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that we are talking to ourselves constantly. Even if you're not speaking with another, we have this monkey mind that just goes racing through our head. And if we are not cautious, we fasten on to different things and become obsessed. And it's so easy to become obsessed with, this is wrong, or that's wrong, or my butt's too big, or, oh my God, what if we go to war, and I don't think I could handle it if my husband or my son or goes off to war and gets killed, and da-da-da-da. And, we just make things so that they loom up huge. And it's like, well, okay, HALT. Don't make major decisions. Don't do things when you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Mm-hmm. HALT. Mm-hmm. Those are not the times to make major decisions.
And I think, in a way, your protest, your anti-war protest, is that you consciously choose every day to focus on gratitude.
Yes.
And to give your focus to the beautiful things and the beautiful people in your life, and to celebrate those little moments, and that's kind of your...
It's a treasure. Yeah, that's my treasure trove.
As you have this little treasure chest thing to your right back.
Oh, yes, I do. That is a treasure chest, yes. And if you'll notice, I have a lot of little deities in there. You know, everything from Egyptian deities to butterflies, to, you know, the goddess Mot. Yeah, I have just all sorts of little things in there, you know. And I believe in altars. And I've got altars all over the apartment, you know. And and altars, what they are for me is a reminder. They're a reminder of what I love, what I treasure, what I value, what gives me peace and joy and harmony in my life. You know, so I am very, very blessed with, you know, I can see color. We sometimes take those sort of things for granted. You know, we can see, we can hear. I love to sing. And I, you know, just watch me. I'll just, you know.
On the rooftop and over in the park.
By city county building, yes. Yeah. Just, you know, or the library, Washington Square, you know. I love to sing. I always have. And joy, dancing. I remember when I was working with my African ladies, they would celebrate and dance whenever, you know, something wonderful happened. Somebody got their GED, you know, somebody got an apartment, whatever it was, you know, when I announced to them that I was getting married again. You know, it was so fun because my African ladies got up and danced and shook their booties, you know, and it's, you know, and then they would pull me into the circle to get me dancing with them, you know, but that's joy, you know, and that is something you can't buy. Joy, love, harmony, laughter, fun. I love laughter. You know, there's a book I read a long, long time ago, and it's written by a Baha'i gentleman, William Sears, and it was called God Loves Laughter. You know? And it was about this little boy and his grandfather. You know, and his grandfather was always saying, there'll be pie in the sky when we die. You know, and just, okay, all right. You know, and how much he venerated and loved his granddaddy, you know. And it's so funny because it actually took place right here in Salt Lake City.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my goodness, okay. God, good orderly direction, loves laughter. You know, and we talked last week about humor's your best friend. Temper's your worst enemy. Fearful or angry. Right. Okay.
So we're kind of talking about some of the tools of how to shift, how to pivot when you find that you're overwhelmed, or you're in the to-do list mode, or you're in the everything's awful, look at how awful everything is. And I don't know if it was in the last video we did or if it shut off before that, but you were talking about the way that you say the Serenity Prayer and work with the Serenity Prayer.
Oh, okay.
And I'd love to hear your interpretation and translation of it.
Okay, first of all, God. God being good, orderly direction. Grant me the serenity. Serenity being peace, healing, safety, tranquility. So grant me the serenity to accept. You know, and in order to accept, you've got to be serene. Okay? You can't be belligerent and angry and be accepting. It doesn't work.
I accept
that
this.
way. If I have to. There you go, tiny guy. Let's go down. Let's go over here. Woo, there you go. There you go, tiger. My little tiger. Oh, yes. I got a tiger in my tank. It's plain to see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, baby boy. Okay, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Well, what the heck are they? You know? Well, I can change a lot. Well, perhaps. The things I cannot change. Well, we can't change others. We can't change what they did, what they're thinking, you know, how they're acting. To change others, okay, we can't. And we can't change acts of God and Mother Nature. I'm sorry there was an earthquake and your pictures fell off the wall.
Which they did.
Which they did. Yet we can change. You know, so, yeah, I wound up giving some of my pictures away because it's like, well, we're going to have more earthquakes, and so these poor things are going to fall off the wall again, and we don't need them to break anymore, you know. So it's like, okay, and we did. We had over 2,000 aftershocks. You know, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so we can't change that either, you know. What do you mean you live right on the fault? I used to live for 25 years. I lived across the street from Fault Line Park.
Yep.
I remember being in the bathtub and just relaxing and then looking at my light and it's going doot, doot, then looking at the water and the water's going doot, doot. It's like, oh my gosh. We are having an earthquake and I'm in the tub naked.
There's no ducking and covering then. I don't know.
Oh well. Next. Right. Yeah, so it's just, yeah, what can you change? And it's like yourself. Yourself. You know, I can change me, myself, and I. That's what I can change. You know, do I want to be more attractive and less frumpy? Well, yeah, supposedly I should do that. You know? Okay, I can do that, yes. Do I want to study more? Yes, yes. I love to learn, constantly learning. And I think that we could go to the end of our days and never stop learning. You know, which is so fun. It's just fun. And not everything we learn is going to make us happy. You know, but that's okay. We just keep looking at it, see what we can change and see what other people have done to make a difference. And can we join somehow, or can we incorporate it into our own world? You know?
And that's kind of, it comes back to what you're saying before of if we wait for all the conditions to line up.
Correct.
Before we act on the things we know we want for ourselves, we'll wait forever.
Yes.
And one of the ways I've learned to kind of identify things that I want for myself, or what are the things that I admire in other people.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
And not wait until conditions are met. So, you know, I was talking to you when I first came into your apartment tonight, seeing these cute outfits you put together, and that you have it like really from the top of your head down to you cannot see, she's got blue toenails But from the top of your head all the way down, there's a cute hat and fun hair and cute earrings and jewelry. And, and you mix and match and you play with your wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
And you have these elements, and you've done this as long as I've known you. And seeing that, and I just went, I love color.
Yes.
I love art. And I've been now, just from being around you so much through this process, I'm buying new clothes. And I went through my closet and pulled everything out and looked at what do I actually have that I enjoy, that I can fit into. And
yes.
There's lots of stuff. There's ideas, and then I'm getting creative, and it's that thing of if you spot it, you got it. Happens in a good way too.
Yes, yeah. You spot it, you got it. Woo! That's marvelous. And yes, I have things all over the apartment. Like I have sayings from the Dalai Lama, like confidence in oneself. Having confidence in oneself so that you can be an actress. So that you can go and protest if that's what you want to do. If you want to speak out about something. I find that I don't really need to speak out about a lot. That it's very them and us routine. And it's like, because I'm basically love one another. Come on, people, now. Love one another. Everybody get together.
And what do you have on your hat? Wait a minute, I just noticed that I think there's an angel on your hat.
There's an angel on my
hat,
hat,
see if I can zoom into the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's an angel, okay.
Yes.
See, you're a walking altar.
Well, sometimes that's really true. Plus, like, this hat, which looks like a cowboy hat, is actually a Tibetan Sherpa hat.
Okay.
That I got from a store called Silk Road. Okay. The angel was a pin that I was given. The scarf was a silk scarf that I was given from one of my neighbors, during this last Christmas season. This beautiful little necklace was given to me by my friend Starlight.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked so pretty with all the different turquoise and purples. And I managed to acquire this little jacket in Hawaii in one of my trips over there. And the earrings are from Joan Rivers.
Whoa, Joan!
Yeah. Because I've decided, and I wear these a lot, different ones like this, because I like these hooks, because they stay and I don't lose them all the time. Just little things. My friend did my toenails blue. My friend Frances, who brought this little boy to me, she did my toenails, which is fun. Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can get this to go. Oh, toes!
Toes! Can you see my toes?
Toes!
Toes! And I love girl times. Just fun. Just playing with, our makeup, our toenails, our essential oils, all of those sort of things. Peppermint oil and lavender, which is peaceful and really good for the skin, and peppermint is really good for, if you put it in your hands and you snort it, it's really good for your sinuses. There's just, we are so blessed with a zillion million things that we can utilize. And start investigating. Like I'm going to go do the stem cells in Tijuana, right? Well, I can't tell you how many people have, oh, no, you're not going to do that. And it's like, wait a minute. They actually have a car that meets you at the San Diego airport. Okay, they drive you across the border. There happens to be a medical lane to going into Tijuana, drives you right to the clinic. across the street from the clinic is a Marriott hotel. So at night you stay in the hotel, daytime you're in the clinic getting therapy of chelation, detox. You can have facials, you can, the stem cells, and the stem cells are $250, and over here in Salt Lake, they're $3,000 for one shot. You know, it's just crazy.
And then you were saying they've got like a cafeteria or a restaurant there.
They have a
all
restaurant,
organic food
yes,
that you eat while you're
right
going
in the
through
clinic.
it all.
Yes, that is guaranteed to be healthy for Americans, so that we don't get Montezuma's revenge. You know, you know, it's so funny because I went to Mazatlan with a girlfriend who's a nurse, and she had all sorts of potions and lotions and stuff to stay well, and she got sick and I didn't. You know, and it's like, oh no, oh no. And it's like, you know, why don't I come, you know, with everything that I've had to struggle with, I think it's a God thing. You know, like a little bit like Job or Jobette. And I keep telling, you know, Source, hey, my name is not Jobette. Okay, we got this one. You know, you know, for all the various things. But I think that I'm, at least in my mind, I'm convinced that I've got this peasant stamina. You know, I definitely have the peasant build, you know. You know, I've always wanted to have bird bones and be tall and thin and, you know, instead I managed to get short and a big butt.
Woo! And you dance with it. You dance with it.
You know, and it's like, I know that was one thing that was hard for me when we did the first video. Was like Lilli meet Lilli, because I never would watch myself. And then in the first video, to see my antics, my hands, my expressions on my face, my laughter, and it's like, am I really like that? Oh my goodness. Eek. You know, and I think most of us are not aware of how we look to others, you know, and it's like, you know, and at first I was not pleased, you know, and I'm not going to say that I'm pleased currently yet. It's like, hey, that's who I am. That is really who I am. And it's okay. It's not bad. It's who I am. Okay? So I was thinking, too, that perhaps we ought to mention a little bit about 9-Day Medicine Wheel.
Yes.
The medicine wheel journey.
This is something I definitely want to hear about. And
okay.
Is there anything else for now that you want to say about Reiki before we go into medicine wheel journey?
It's a good lifestyle. Doing Reiki is a very good lifestyle. You know, and it's not just like adding one more tool to your repertoire. If you embrace it and you constantly are practicing and working with it, it becomes a lifestyle, you know, and things do change. Life gets more mellow. I know that a lot of people might not realize that when I was younger, I was, well, of course I was verbal. Yeah, I was also very upset and miserable and stressed and shook up, and things, you know, were constantly causing me ulcerative colitis, bleeding ulcers in my gut, just stress.
And this is little kid Lilli. Like six years old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yet also at the same time throughout my teen years and my 20s, you know, and not being, because I didn't really have role models to demonstrate to me what good relationship was and how to handle things that are thrown at you constantly. I had to figure those out. And one of those ways I figured out, first of all, was through something called Recovery Incorporated, which is actually out of Chicago. And what was really interesting is national headquarters for Recovery Inc. was in the same building, just like a floor below, as national headquarters for Baha'i.
Ooh.
The Baha'i faith, right, which I had embraced for over 20 years. I still embrace being Baha'i. I do not go to functions, mostly because I've really learned throughout the years that there isn't any one particular belief system that I embrace. I have actually incorporated a number of things that resonate with me. And constantly, I never have believed that anyone had to embrace my belief system. No. I mean, I definitely share with people if they want to know something about my own particular beliefs. But do I think people have to live that way, etc., etc.? Oh, goodness, no. I think each person has to find their journey, their path, And we do talk a lot about society and where people are sheeple. And it's like, no, think. Think. Tune into your heart. Tune into your essence, the core of your being. What really resonates for you? What really feels good? Do the work. And also, a lot of times, it won't be what everybody else is doing. And that can feel earth-shattering. Yet not after you start down that journey and start letting folks know, that doesn't really work for me. Yeah, this over here does, la la la. And I don't wear my belief systems on my sleeve, or I hope not,
Do you, just on the rim of your hat? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Yes, okay. Good.
So this actually, I'd had this question earlier, and this fits right into it.
Uh-huh.
So how do you listen to yourself, your intuition, or your inner guidance system? Because I know when I first met you, I had been raised in a religion.
Right.
And I had been taught from a very young age, listen to yourself unless it contradicts what the dude on the podium is saying.
Right.
In that case, abandon, that's Satan is talking to you now, and so defer to the dude on the podium.
Right.
And I was so mixed up that part of me coming to you was like, I don't even know how to listen to myself.
Yes.
And what do you do, and what would you say to someone who's wanting to learn how to tune in?
Well, to me, it's rather simple. I just kind of go inside and ask, does this work for me? Does this feel good? Does this feel right? And I have to listen. That's the other part. Listen. You can ask all you want, but if you don't shut up and listen. So it's like, listen. And the way I tend to know, it's like, my gut will feel peaceful. I'll feel calm, and I'll feel like, yeah, this is really right, and I ask all the time. For instance, when it comes to like attire, it's like, what should I wear today? What feels right? And it's like, well, this color of blue and purple really fits you today. Really? Oh, okay. Should I wear this hat or that hat? Well, this one actually is looking more fun right now. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead and put that scarf on your head and as a headband. Oh, okay, all right, sure, why not? So I just, I listen.
Would you say that if it feels like fun,
Yes.
It's a yes.
Oh, yeah.
If it feels like a chore or a have to or trying to please someone else, or
if it feels heavy,
no.
right?
Okay.
If it feels heavy, if it feels like it's dragging you down, instead of lifting you up. If it's doing that, then you've probably got your answer. And it's not that if you put the other darker garb on that it would be so bad or wrong. It's just that the light, bright, is gonna make you feel more airy-fairy, lighthearted, playful. And we get to do that all of our lives. I'm gonna be 73.
Woo!
And I keep helping other people realize, yes, of course there are things that are problematic at this stage. Yet that doesn't mean we can't have so much fun and joy. And there can be crazy ideas that come to you, like my idea of going over to the city county building and just saying, yeah, come on and sit with me. Sing if you want to. Listen if you want to. Whatever. That me doing that with my little cheester is just perfect. And I am constantly coming up with crazy ideas. Everything from doing dot-to-dot books, doing adult coloring books, and I don't mean erotic.
Okay. I wasn't sure there it is you, Lilli.
Yeah, it is me. I know. Knitting, if that's your bag, my little Starlight, who gave me this, she has done some amazing things that I've seen. Like she has knit out of plastic grocery bags. She has managed to knit like purses and recycle things. And I think, I just looked at a site today that was so much fun, and it was 30 different ways of recycling stuff that we all have around that's just trash, and doing all kinds of wild and crazy things with them, and like, that really works. And a really small thing is like when all of us have cords for our devices, all of us have cords, and just using toilet paper rolls to stuff the cord in to keep them from tangling up and getting to be a big mess. So you can have a ton of cords, and each one in their own little toilet paper roll, big deal. But who doesn't throw those things away all the time? And it's like recycle, repurpose, figure out what it is. There's another site that I saw on YouTube, and it was how to make a little girl's dress out of a man's shirt. With long sleeves and everything. It's this whole pattern, and it's just darling. And then they put it on the little baby, and it was so dang cute. So if we, creativity, thinking cap, play. I remember one of the most fun things at the university. I took an art class, and one of the things the teacher had us do is take 30 minutes. And I want you to go walking around campus and gather trash. Just gather trash items, and because you're going to come back and you're going to make something out of that trash. And it's like, oh, you're kidding. But lo and behold, we all went and did that, and then we came back and we glued and we painted and we taped and we did all sorts of things. And we came up with some amazing items. I think I mentioned once that I was teaching English conversation at Horizonte High School for adult immigrants and refugees. And I had come across in the dumpster, I saw that there was a broken globe, right? And so I picked out the pieces and brought it to class. And then I had my students fix the globe. We're going to fix the world today. And we used magazine pictures and everything. And by the time we did it, it was so fun. And then my students from different areas of the world showed each other where they were from. And it was just, out of a piece of trash, we made something that really functioned.
And what strikes me in that story is that you were available enough to notice. So earlier you were kind of talking about, way early at the very beginning of the conversation, you were talking about how important it is to notice. And that
awake and aware and conscious.
Yeah, yes. And that part of the grats and pats as a just foundational discipline that you practice every day is teaching yourself to notice.
Absolutely.
And so that moment occurred because you were awake and aware and you noticed the globe and you were available to have a really artistic moment with what you could do, a little insight, instead of it could be easy to just walk and not notice and have your blinders on and I'm teaching this class today and I've already got my curriculum and I know what I'm going to... But that out of these moments of being awake and aware, more magic can come, more creativity can come.
And it was so fun to teach my people to bring in old cell phones, and to teach my people how to do conversations on a cell phone. What do you say? Everything from hello to goodbye to I need such and such, whatever. Just learning how to talk on a phone. Teaching people what a stamp was and that it need to go on an envelope and what a mailbox is. And my African folks did not know about checks. That we write checks out. Well, what if I can't write? And when I took them down to ZCMI Mall, and many of my African people had been living in the bush, and I took them to ZCMI Mall, and we rode on an escalator, and they were terrified, poor babies, because they thought it would eat their feet, right? And then also taking them to the Dollar Tree store. And them not quite getting it that this item costs $1 plus, and people having to wake up to the fact that it's not just $1 here, it costs this and this, learning about that we add tax, and it's just fun to, it's fun, it's educational. There's so much that we can learn about. Right now, I have no idea, but the tower over here on the city county building has these flashing lights on it that are different colors. And I do not know why.
Let me see if I can see them.
I was wondering if it's because of living traditions, We're having Living Traditions Festival, but it's in different places. Like the other weekend, it was in Washington Square here, and Gallivan Center, and just different places around Liberty Park.
Okay, it might be an extreme close-up. Oh, there's the top of the hat. There's the angel. There's the mountains with the view upon them. And close up. Oh!
Okay. Well, should we continue or should we wait for next week to do 9-day medicine wheel journey?
So I think let's wait, because I think that could be a whole thing in and of itself. And,
yes, it can.
And how you discovered it.
All right.
So I just want to circle back to a couple things we were talking about. So correct me if I'm wrong, or add if you want to add anything else in there. So listening to yourself. For you, it feels like joy. It feels light.
Yes. When it
brings joy, light, laughter, a sense of play, a sense of fun.
Yes.
That's a yes.
That's a yes. When it feels heavy, I have so many yeses in my life that I don't really need to focus on the maybes.
Okay.
I don't need to focus on the no's. I don't need to focus on the maybes. Okay. So that's what that's what I would put out there. And it's like check in. It's like learning how to listen to your body. Okay, learning how to listen to your inner self, your inner wisdom. All right. And oftentimes in our society, we have cut that off and eliminated that, where people aren't even in tune with what their body feels like. How do you know you have ill health if you don't ever listen? And pain is a gift. Pain is a message that something's not right. It's not an awful thing. It's telling you gotta do something about this. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes when we have pain, we're just like, and it's like, well, no, it's a gift. It's telling you that something's out of whack, something's out of balance. Restoring the balance, the time is now. So we're having to restore balance in all sorts of ways for ourselves, for the planet. But it starts with self. First of all, you have to listen to yourself.
Now, what would you say if there's somebody who watches this video and they think to themselves, oh no, everything in my life is a no. My job is a no. I think about, oh no, it's Monday, I have to go back to work, and what I wear, my closet is full of things that are oh, that'll do. That's kind of a no. And they just feel like there aren't very many yeses, and that the no's feel like obligations. Well, I can't just quit my job, or oops, I can't just do this. Where would you have them begin? How do they begin the process of turning their life into one big old yes, where they don't even have time for anything else but the yeses?
What is something really simple that you can do to make the day fun? What can you go buy donuts for the office and bring them in for everybody? And don't concern yourself whether they say, oh no, I couldn't because I'm too fat and they're like this big. Do some small thing to shift and change. Just some little, and then keep adding to it. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then remember to pat yourself on the back for doing that. Okay? And then remember to start looking at others and seeing something about them that you can compliment. I love that scarf. I love your hair. It's beautiful. You look like an angel. It makes me happy to look at you. Things like that. A closet, some things I've done for my closet, which is really crazy, is I don't like t-shirts. I don't look good in t-shirts. I look like a box. But what's really fun for me and that I've done in the past is taking them and I sew with scissors. That's the way I sew. So I will cut the sleeves and make them all fringy. The neck I'll make fringy. The bottom I might make fringy. I might cut slits and stuff all throughout them. And I make them so that they're fun for me. Not for somebody else, but for me. So that's something you can do on the cheap to change your wardrobe. Maybe it's not something you can wear to an office, but it's, something you can do.
And it sounds like you really give yourself permission to own what you like,
right? To
claim it.
Oh, absolutely.
To march to your drummer.
Yes.
And that, you can start by doing just one tiny thing that feels like it would be outrageous.
Oh, yes.
But fun.
Yes.
And wouldn't hurt anybody.
Right, right.
And that one little thing, in my experience of, I keep hitting this, in my experience of, whoopsies, of being mentored by you, you would kind of find what I was available to try. And it didn't matter if it was the tiniest little bit.
Right.
If I just started with that tiniest little bit, it was an avalanche of things shifting.
Right. Oh, and it's amazing. One little pebble. Do. Yeah.